Although, in Return of the Jedi, we see the citizens of Coruscant seemingly revolting against the Empire shortly after the Battle of Endor, the planet would not be fully liberated until nearly 3 years later. By 7 ABY, Coruscant would become the new capital for the New Republic, and of course the center, again, of the entire galaxy. But only a few months earlier, towards the end of 6 ABY, Izani Isard, having killed most of the Imperial ruling council, was still held up on Imperial Center, which was protected by strong planetary defenses. As the New Republic battled to capture the hearts, minds, and of course planets of the galaxy, they made the securing of Coruscant, or as was often known during the era, Imperial Center, an absolute priority, even above fighting off Imperial warlords. So the New Republic pushed towards the core, they established bases, and covert agents were also sent to Coruscant to gauge planetary defenses. However, it was made obvious that the New Republic would not be able to assault Coruscant directly. Their naval force just wasn't large enough, and Coruscant was too well defended. We get the following quote from Wedge's Gamble, Book 2 of the X-Wing series. "To take Coruscant, we must eliminate the shields. There are a number of ways to do this, but none of them are simple. A direct assault would cost us more dearly than both Death Star battles combined." This was because, as Admiral Akbar explained, the Golan defense platforms and especially the planetary shield made it so Coruscant could hold out, even without a navy. And speaking of, the actual space forces around the planet were paltry, only perhaps a few Star Destroyers. But obviously Coruscant did have one of the strongest planetary shields in the entire galaxy, so just bombarding it didn't seem practical. One option was to blockade the planet, but that just didn't seem practical, as it would leave the New Republic fleet in a single position for too long, and it would also give Isard the time to summon reinforcements, perhaps even Super Star Destroyers. So another plan was developed, which saw Rogue Squadron inserted incognito to the planet's surface alongside several criminals who had been negotiated from the prisons of Kessel, basically to start trouble. Their goal was to take down the planet's defensive systems from within. Now, as a note, there was a degree of internal strife within the team, mostly surrounding Tycho Selku, who had been abducted and taken to Isard's Lusankia prison sometime earlier, which was known for brainwashing individuals and re-embedding them to their faction, only to have them turn on their allies. So that made all of this a bit more difficult. So initial plans were discussed for how to take down the planetary shield. I'm going to talk about that a different day, especially Wedge's trip to the Galactic Museum. But for right now, it's simple enough to say that the first plan was to take down the shields through Coruscant's computer systems. However, that was determined to be a non-viable plan. The second plan was far more convoluted, but is the one the New Republic ended up going with. So there are 3 pieces of background information that are crucial to understanding Rogue Squadron's plan. First of all, the Coruscant planetary shield received its power from planet-side generators. Obviously, the Coruscant electrical system was extraordinarily sophisticated. However, there were enough critical components within a single proximate area that it was not infallible, especially to terrorism or some sort of attack. Second, Coruscant was weather controlled, primarily through large orbital mirrors, which reflected the light of the system's sun. These could be moved and operated to strategically distribute energy. Third, the cityscape of Coruscant was constantly changing, and one of the ways this was accomplished was through the use of large constructor droids. Constructor droids were basically multi-story bulldozers. They would take down buildings and use the material to create new ones, depending on the needs of the planet. So Rogue Squadron's plan was 3-pronged, and again, this is fairly insane. The first team, led by Wedge Antilles, was sent to capture one of the Imperial constructor droids. The second team, led by Corran Horn, was to protect the droid from the air, and they were armed with headhunters. Wedge was to alter the course of the droid, moving it towards one of the orbital mirror stations. It was known that Imperial procedure would dictate that the station be evacuated, at which point the third team, including Winter, Tycho Selku, and the Gand Oral, would infiltrate the station and take control of the planet's orbital mirrors. So the plan basically goes off without a hitch. The Empire does eventually realize what's going on and dispatches TIE fighters, as well as defenses from Coruscant's buildings. The Walker is defended by Team 2, and Team Team 3 manages to infiltrate the station. We get a nice perspective from the cousin of Captain Nita, who is the commanding officer on the mirror platform, as the station repositions to direct immense amounts of energy onto Coruscant's surface. This causes massive storms. Unfortunately, the storms themselves, while capable of destroying much of the infrastructure essential to keeping the shields up, does not manage to totally destroy everything. Thus, one of Rogue Squadron's best pilots, Corran Horn, is sent not only to destroy the final relay station, but to do so, and I quote Wedge here, while outrunning lightning. Corran manages not only to hit the station with 2 missiles, but with the help of Rogue Squadron, also rams a TIE interceptor into the target. The attack is successful, Coruscant loses power, and the shields fall. This is, of course, only one aspect of the battle. As Wedge launched his assault, the New Republic fleet was jumping from a nearby star system towards Coruscant. An interdictor cruiser was placed between the jump point and Coruscant, so the ships could be pulled out of hyperspace should the shields not be disabled in time. Rogue Squadron accomplished their goal with only 10 seconds or so remaining before the cutoff point, and the fleet proceeded. Here we get another quote from Lieutenant Nita. His ability to recognize the 2 ships, 2 Star Destroyers that had just jumped in, pleased him, which is why he wondered about the underlying sense of unease slowly creeping into his heart. About the time one of the long, gently curved Mon Calamari battlecruisers reverted and swung into the line, he recalled the Accuser and Adjudicator had both been captured at Endor by the rebels. More and more rebel ships poured from hyperspace, big ships, small ships, snub fighters, freighters, frigates, and corvettes, each of them pulled into line with the heavier ships. The battlecruisers and destroyers formed a central layer, with ships diminishing in size and strength as they stretched from equator to pole in the northern hemisphere. So with the shield down, the Empire only had 2 Victory Star Destroyers and a set of goal and defense platforms protecting the planet. The Victories intercepted as much firepower as they could, while the Golan 3s pounded away at the rebel fleet, destroying numerous smaller ships. Thankfully, Rogue Squadron on the ground still had control of the orbital mirror and used it to destroy a key defense platform. This allowed the fleet to move in and attack the 2 Victories directly. The 2 New Republic Star Destroyers and the Home One split the Victories down the middle and hit them with broadsides, while the Mon Ramonda and MC-80B cut in front of them, also firing broadsides. Smaller ships and other cruisers both continued to overwhelm the Star Destroyers and also spread out to prepare and watch for possible reinforcements. However, the battle was beyond ended at this point, and due to overwhelming force, both Star Destroyers actually surrendered and were added to the New Republic fleet, a great victory. From that point, the ground invasion began. First, a strike team was sent to take out some of the Imperial sensors and communication equipment, which would make the invasion difficult. Then larger forces were landed. Unfortunately, after crashing his headhunter, Corran Horn was presumed dead, though was actually captured by and aboard the Lusankya. Also unfortunate, though, is the fact that Izani Isard realized she couldn't hold Coruscant forever and was fully prepared to cede it to the New Republic. However, she did so after poisoning it with the Krytos virus, an illness which affects primarily non-humans. She would later escape in the Lusankya itself in one of the craziest Star Wars Legends moments of all time, which I've covered in a previous video. Today's question comes from Dead Knight, who asked whether I will ever talk about other science fiction, giving several examples. Well, I have on occasion covered Doom or Fallout or several other universes. It really depends on how knowledgeable I am. I'm not the type of YouTuber who's happy just reading off a Wikipedia page, so I'm not going to cover a universe that I'm not really familiar with, and that's why I gravitate mostly towards Star Wars and Halo. I do want to do something fun when the new Doom game comes out. I'm not sure what, whether it's some sort of live stream or maybe a Let's Play series or just a lore breakdown, but let me know what you guys think, and as always, what universes you'd like me to cover next. Anyway, until next time guys, this has been EckhartsLadder. May the Force be with you.